Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the 90th Minute Podcast. We are your hosts, Lukas, Waz, and our friend Brett. Welcome, Brett, to the podcast. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys? Thank you so much for having me on here.
Of course. And of course, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share your thoughts and opinions with us. Everything football related. So, three of our other guys are not here. Liam is out and about. He had work, like he always does, but he's like, I'm going out tonight. I'm like, I see where your priorities are, Emmett. Rasta and Greg, they're working, they're making bank. It's respectable. They've been loyal to the 9th minute recently. I respect that. But let's just get things started off with Brett. Tell us a little bit about yourself, because a lot of the viewers might not know who you are, listeners, and I think it's fair to say we might be seeing your face a little bit more in future videos when we do more IRL stuff, because Brett is very good with camera work, behind the scenes stuff. He's got a hell of a resume. So
thank you. Yeah, well, I'm not as commanding as Greg is with his captain's hat. So, but I went through the same radio and television program as was, but I know everybody from the 90th minute from elementary school. We all went to elementary school, just as all of you guys did, as well as many people know. So I decided to go into radio and television. Always loved football, always followed it. And then once the COVID hit and football was the first sport to come back, it really came back into my life. Bayern Munich. I'm not a huge Bayern Munich fan, but Alphonso Davies just really gave my football passion a kick in the ass again. And again, like Waz, I have the radio and television stream, or Nate stream. I went in the television program and went on to be a television, what was I? A reporter, TV reporter.
Yeah.
And now I'm back in school to be in journalism. So ride the raves everywhere, and honestly would prefer to be here any day.
Right there, that was an awesome introduction. Yeah, like I said, Brett will probably help us with some more IRL videos. When we did IRL football like last summer, we had some technical difficulties. We were supposed to release a second video, but it just wasn't shot well, and that's why we brought on Brett to kind of help us out a bit, and maybe some other funny videos here and there where he can really bring in his technical aspects, which is great. But let's get into the football, of course. The Euros have been they're finally getting to the nitty-gritty part. Semifinals are set. We have Italy versus Spain, England versus Denmark, and so far, how are we feeling going into these final couple matches? Are we feeling any fatigue from watching them as well?
I felt some fatigue early on in the tournament, but then some great matches were coming up. We kept getting banger after banger of a match, and I think that brought the excitement back up. Some of the games in the last round weren't as good, but they were still fine and enjoyable matches and lots of drama. And I think I'm really looking forward to the semifinals, and I think this is shaping up as one of the better Euros that I've seen in my lifetime.
No, what I was going to say, just kind of to what you were saying, Lucas, just how early in the tournament there were some games where you just had to realize that you were watching, North Macedonia, and maybe these aren't going to be the best banger games, but then you got to these quarterfinals and you just got, extra time match after extra time match, going into pens, late goals. It's been unbelievable.
Yeah, and just let's, start off with England so far. Talking about the semi-final matchup, England versus Denmark. What do we think of England so far? What do we see out of them in that quarterfinal against Ukraine? What did you guys think?
Genuinely, I thought we see a lot of England being that shut it down. They haven't allowed one goal this entire tournament, and that kind of shut down type football that we saw with them throughout the entire tournament was present throughout. And finally, they cracked their issue and they cracked their nutshell, I guess, and finally got the shots to go in, finally found the back of the net over and over. Luke Shaw, like the joke is, he looked like Roberto Carlos, and it was kind of wonderful to see. I have Ronaldo over my shoulder, but England's fun to watch right now.
They are. They've been somewhat fun to watch. I mean, offensively, they haven't looked perfectly, but I think Arsene Wenger, he was I forget which. I think I don't know who he's presenting for. Yeah, and he was saying how Gareth Southgate has really perfected their defense, but so far he's still trying to figure out a way to perfect that offense. But we kind of saw it flowing very well against Ukraine. Just a couple set pieces, good crosses. That's kind of been England's game right now. It's just kind of crosses. Getting it to Kane, Maguire, whoever. The first goal was beautiful in the 4th minute.
Yeah, that was I really did enjoy that first goal from England, like especially that Raheem Sterling pass. It's like people complain about Raheem Sterling a lot prior to this tournament, but the guy's got good qualities to him. I mean, shooting wise, he can be inconsistent, but we also saw a good shot from him, I believe, in this match as well. But yeah, I think really the early goal that Ukraine conceded in the second half just killed all hope they had for the rest of the game.
Yeah, all the momentum.
Like I remember watching one time Jimmy Conrad talking to some doctor about mental parts of sports, and I remember asking what's worse, conceding right before halftime or right after halftime, and in general I think the answers was pretty much right after halftime, because you have all this, you had the team talk, you had the conversations, the plan going to the second half gone like that because you conceded so quickly after the halftime start.
As opposed to when you're going in, you can make that plan, adjust, and just go back out there. That's a really cool aspect to that game. And I think it was also Liam on the stream who was saying Ukraine, as much as he wanted England to win, he wanted to see Ukraine score that first goal to kind of see England kind of get jambled and scramble around there. That would have been very interesting to see how England would have been able to claw back from that.
Yeah, it's England's been just a very interesting case this tournament because they haven't had the biggest tests in the world. Sure, they had Germany, which to be fair, the German side wasn't the worst, I think. But they've yet to concede, and yet there's still question marks going into every game against England. Can they do it again? Will they score enough? Will Sancho finally start? He finally started. That was great to see, but I mean, clearly there's a Premier League bias with this English national team. So, I've been enjoying England for the most part. It's been great seeing the United players do well. Brett and I are United supporters. Maguire and Luke Shaw just having a great tournament so far. Roberto Carlos, I would say that's a bit of a... I would say it's a bit of an overstatement, but hey, you can't go wrong with it. I think the one thing I'll just mention about England, which I found very interesting, is that apparently right before halftime they switched to a 4-4-2 defensive shape, because there was a clip of Harry Kane. You can mouth read what he's saying, and he was saying switch to 4-4-2. So I found that interesting because you know how Gareth Southgate's been very defensive this tournament, and it's interesting to see people don't recognize that. Sometimes teams do change their formation mid game. You saw Sancho swap wings with Sterling a couple of times. It was nice.
Well, he did start the game as in a 4-2-3-1 type shape, and which is different compared to the other matches throughout the tournament. Now, with the game coming up against Denmark, I wouldn't be surprised seeing them go back to 3-back that they played previously in the tournament.
Yeah, how do we see that game shaping up? England versus Denmark. Give your predictions if you want to, but just kind of give. It's gonna be interesting because Denmark have been a joy to watch this tournament. They've been very fun watching attacking wise. They haven't really seen too many issues defensively, but is their offense strong enough to break down England's defense so far?
Well, I think the bigger question is England's attack able to break down Denmark? Because if we look back to late 2020, these two sides did play each other in the Nations League. And both matches were advantages for Denmark. Denmark drew 1-1 and won 1-0. So there's some history between these sides recently. Now, obviously, a lot has happened. Both have had incredible tournaments. We've seen earlier in the tournament when Denmark played Belgium. Denmark played very well, but Belgium has been the best team to play them in the tournament, and they also played a 3-4-3, I believe. So I'm interested to see if England play a similar shape or if they go with something different.
Yeah, seeing the comparison between the last or the reverse fixtures for them, I can see the history being kind of potentially on Denmark's side. I think what we see with Denmark that's kind of special or different is that Josef Poulsen is not really even starting for them. And that could potentially be their secret weapon down the road, and especially in the semifinals. If they are down one, if they're scrapping for a goal, I think Poulsen might maybe not be an X factor here, but he may be a potentially important factor for this team.
No, yeah, guys, you guys made a great point. I guess just to wrap it up, I'm not gonna make a prediction right now. I'll wait till Wednesday, but let's move on to Italy versus Belgium, where that was obviously the marquee game, I would say, of the quarterfinals. Belgium with a lot of hype, Italy with a lot of hype this tournament. You know, people are wondering, can Belgium actually win an international tournament with this generation? And that's not going to happen, as the Italians have moved to the semifinals, obviously. But it wasn't the pretty Italy that we were used to seeing. I mean, some of the goals are fantastic, though. Don't give me Insigne's and Barrella's goals are fantastic strikes. Lukaku, great penalty. Some controversial moments, some sad moments with Spinazzola. But I think the real talking point throughout this match wasn't the fact that Italy went through. It was the diving that really caught everybody's eyes, it seemed. And, I love this sport, and I try to kind of ignore the diving aspect of it. I try not to, put a lot of my energy into it. I try to focus on the play, the goals, the assists. But sometimes it is a bit ridiculous, especially when you see, Ciro Immobile, he's down, and he just then gets up magically when they score. What is that? I mean, I don't really know how to feel about that.
I mean, I just find it funny, and I don't give a crap about it.
I think that's a good way of looking at it.
I think you can complain about players diving or overreacting, but at the end of the day, they do this because it works. It does. Sometimes it stops the play. Sometimes it gets them an extra foul or something like that. It's really up to the referee to say, if a player's down, just keep playing if you don't think it was anything serious. But it's a tough thing to do because you can't tell if people are being honest or not. And
especially in the Spinazzola situations, he went down very easily from what it seemed. And people would say, "Oh, he's faking it," but no, he's actually out for 12 months now. It sucks to see.
And another thing I want to mention before we get to Brett is. Okay, no, I lost my train of thought. Go ahead, Brett.
No, that's all good. Even with the Spinazzola thing too, when he pulled up, it wasn't and my Achilles is shattered, it's ruptured. I'm up, I'm not okay, and it was sad. It was tough to see, but it wasn't this over the top thing that we do normally see.
Yeah.
But I think with Insigne, I believe it was that Insigne or
no, it was Ciro Immobile.
Yeah, right. That's and especially with the media being in North America and a lot of the stuff that we seeing the reactions give him a red card after the game for doing that. I kind of take Lucas's side where it's it is what it is. It's part of the game, and so many guys. It has gone to the NBA too with LeBron, how he flops apparently. But it's a time to be able to. You're playing a sport for 90 minutes. You're running around. You get a break here now. You're trying to get a point. You're trying to get whatever advantage you can. Now you're okay. I'm down. I got the foul. Let's take a break.
Something the casual fan, I would say, doesn't really realize and understand is the amount of intensity that these players go through during these matches through 90 minutes. They are going through very high intensity athleticism. I mean, I was watching remember the Spurs documentary a year ago, and you see players go down easily, but then after the game, you see them being recovered immensely. They got ice packs all over them. Their legs go through a lot of mileage.
They run more than 10 kilometers a game.
Yeah, so
that's crazy.
For them to kind of let's say you see a light tackler, oh, he's overreacting. Well, no, it's because his body's just gone through so much that it's going to react a bit more. The pain threshold may be higher, I would say. That's what I want to say.
Well, especially with the spikes on cleats too. Those are big. And that's what I use to kind of explain to people around me that those are big spikes, and they are going right on top of your foot. And if I go and step on your heel, or with my heel on the top of your foot, you're gonna feel that.
Yeah, like even like I'm nowhere near a professional level, but one time, like in indoor where there's no cleats on the boots, I got stomped on my foot, and I literally had struggles for the rest of the season trying to kick the ball with my left foot because there was so much pain whenever I took a shot. Like I had to try not take a shot with that foot.
Yeah. Like it's like your body just responds differently to everything, and it's like you can't just fix that like with magic powder. Maybe you can, depending on if you're rich enough. But like, you know,
it's also in an instant too, right? You're going, you're running, you get something. It's a disruption in your motion, and then you're like, oh, okay, brain's not functioning anymore.
Yeah,
you go, right?
Your mind, everything just reacts so quickly to it. It's like, oh god. So.
But still, focusing on the football though, I'm still impressed by Italy. People like, you know, I saw a funny thumbnail from Italian Football TV on their podcast, or it's just an animated photo of Gary Neville saying Italy haven't played a real team yet, and it's just Mancini slapping him.
Well, that's the same thing what people are saying with England. Oh, they haven't played a real team yet. Like, I don't know. I think it's a ridiculous statement some people are making.
They almost...
Well, like how you're not playing a real team or you're playing farmers. I'm like, get off your high horse, man.
They almost didn't make first or get first in their group. Like,
yeah.
But one question here. Was this a missed opportunity by Belgium?
Yes and no, because, I mean, their golden generation's coming kind of to an end. De Bruyne, Hazard, Lukaku, such world-class players. They've yet to reach a final, to be fair, if you think about it. They made the semifinals in 2018 against a very good French team, to be fair, so I'm not going to say they choked that. They beat a pretty good Brazil side to get there. But this tournament, it was like, they looked pretty damn good at times, and then they kind of fell apart at certain moments, like especially in the back line. Their back line isn't necessarily the strongest in the tournament.
Yeah, I'm kind of struggling with that because my thought is one squad is going to win the trophy. Only one team can lift the trophy at the end of the tournament. And they faced a really good Italy squad. They were down early. They came back, but they lost their fight. You know, I struggle with it, kind of how Oz says it's yes and no, but it would have been nice to see them just square it out and be able to come against Spain here, go up against Spain here. But I have a really tough time trying to think that this was a failure on their part.
And moving on to Spain versus Switzerland, of course, this game went to a penalty shootout. The Spaniards, I guess, aren't the worst at penalties in this tournament, as they did win the shootout 3-1. Very low-scoring affair there, but Switzerland, they were in a tough situation with the red card in the 77th minute. Fantastic staying in the game for the whole 120 minutes. Though it sucks for them, but big shout out to Sommer. In our Twitch stream, there's a chatter just saying Sommer's a star before, like, early on in the match, and we're saying he's not a star player. He's a great goalkeeper, but not like a top 5 goalkeeper in the world. But in that match, that was a top performance, you gotta say.
Mm-hmm, yeah, no doubt about that.
Whoopsies! It was like at half, they were like, hey, yeah, you know these 90th minute guys? Yeah, they're trash talking you good. And he's like, all right, watch this. And he just stood on his head. That was terrific. Terrific goalkeeping by Sommer.
Yeah, but Spain, they move on to the semifinals. I mean, it wasn't. I don't think this was as convincing as their previous 2 performances. Obviously, where they scored in both of those games 5 goals, but it's enough to make the semifinals. They're looking. Look, one thing I want to say about this entire semifinal group of teams is that none of them really seem like they have big egos on their team. They all seem like teams that are like together as a unit. They're just. They enjoy being with each other. They seem like friends, or they get along well, unlike some other teams throughout the tournament where we've been hearing some controversial things. Friends.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if anyone was gonna say it. That's a tight collar moment there.
Yeah, I mean, I think all the teams that are in the semifinal are very deserving to be there. You know, I don't see any team. I mean, you can look at Denmark, like, oh, they're the underdog, but they played very well. They played very, like, as a unit. I mean, that togetherness after the Christian Eriksen incident has really motivated them to go as far as they can. And honestly, I wouldn't be, like I said on our live stream, I wouldn't be mad if any of these teams won it, except for maybe Spain, because we saw them win it, like, just like in 2012 and 2008. Because I always like seeing different winners every year. So, I mean, sure, we saw a different winner in Portugal, but that was like 1 year out of like how many, so. But yeah, if they win it, congratulations. Like, it's the best team. And like, I don't know, I saw this tweet from this guy named Jerry Mancini. He's a local Edmonton writer. He's big in Italian football. And this is what he said about England. England winning Euros is no achievement. Every game at Wembley except one. Every game versus weak opposition, worst Germany in years, apparently. Why was the Dublin game moved to Wembley? Why did Denmark play 3,000 miles away in Baku before semis? Sefrin is giving England favors after they stopped the Super League.
Come on.
Like, just give respect where respect's... Like, they made it to a semi-final. They didn't bottle in the group stage like previous years. They're beating what's in front of them. Yes, Ukraine are not the greatest opposition, but they made it there. They scored an amazing, late winner against Sweden. The fact that we're able to make it that far is a great achievement. Like, every team's worked hard to get to this point.
Yeah, like, I mean, you could say, well, every single one of these teams in the group stages played at home. Now, England was the only one who's had a knockout stage game at home, but still, all these teams have had the home advantage in the tournament. Now it's all at Wembley, and I mean, obviously England are pretty much the hosts of this tournament for the most part. Like, obviously, the main games are played there. Like, every tournament, there's a host country. So I don't understand that type of criticism. It's a little trashy in my opinion.
Totally. Like, someone has to host the tournament. Someone has to host a game. I mean, they're not gonna shoot it out over into, I don't know.
Yeah. Also, we forgot to kind of briefly mention Denmark against the Czech Republic. I know we have our Danish panda man in the chat, so shout out to Denmark. It's been beautiful seeing them make that far. What did you guys think of Czech Republic's tournament?
Look, I'm very impressed by them. I didn't have them getting out of their group initially. They changed my mind with their performances in the group, where I thought they would be able to make the semifinals. They were very close. I mean, Denmark just looked great in that quarterfinal match, but I mean, you gotta hand it to the Czech Republic. Defeating the Netherlands, I think how they played was not expected, and even though there was a red card, I think the Czech Republic would have won that game with how they were playing.
Can we have a coming out party alert for Patrick Schick? Like, this guy was the absolute king of this tournament. It was great to be able to see him absolutely dominate whenever he was able to have the ball at his feet. Obviously, the goal of the tournament, and that was the highlight for the Czechs for me. Really made it fun to watch the Czechs, to see what Patrick Schick was going to do next, and I'm excited to see where he's going to go in the future too. It's
been nice to see a few teams like Czech Republic, Ukraine, Switzerland make it to the quarterfinals. Not necessarily the biggest teams in the world. So, great tournament from them. I mean, amazing goal against Scotland, Patrick Schick. Most people say it's gold tournament, which is fair enough. Amazing strike.
You said it was overrated.
Yeah, here it is.
Maybe I was just grumpy at the time. No, maybe I'm just sad because I didn't see that live.
Yeah, because you weren't gonna get up in time.
No, I was awake and I think I was looking at my computer and I totally just missed it. So I'm like, oh, they scored, and I'm like, oh, it's gold tournament.
Yep.
But yeah, now we've got the semifinals to look forward to. Spain versus Italy, Denmark versus England. We'll probably talk about more of those on our Twitch live streams, twitch.tv/the90thMinuteOfficial. So I guess let's move on to transfers.
Yeah, let's talk about some transfers. I think there have been some breaking news happening in the last hour here. Let's bring it up here. I will... Yeah, the latest one from Fabrizio Romano 31 minutes ago. Manchester United are progressing in direct contacts to sign Eduardo Camavinga. Rennes will be open to negotiate on potential €30 million fee as they lose Camavinga on a free next summer. He's one of Man United's long-term targets. PSG have always been interested in him too.
Man United are having a hot girl summer, man. That's the best comparison right now. I've never seen United been so close to completing like maybe 3 deals by August.
Yeah.
Okay, we usually wait till the end of the transfer window to sign someone like maybe Van de Beek as a panic buy, but now we're actually like, let's just sign some players. Let's just sign some players. I'm like,
almost have 3 signings by the middle of July.
Yeah, not bad, because Varane is still in the cards. Camavinga could happen, and the fact that they might get him for £30 million euros is a bargain for how much quality he has at an 18-year-old. I mean, I don't assume he's gonna have an instant impact, but to have him for at the age of 18 to whenever, maybe a potential Paul Pogba replacement. I don't know. I haven't really watched a lot of Camavinga, but they seem kind of the same in some senses.
Well, you guys, I've voiced my opinion on Camavinga quite often around you guys, but I really like him. The issue that I find with the misconception of Camavinga, especially for English fans, is that he plays deep with Rennes in France there, and then he transitions the ball. He moves the ball up, and then he works as the catalyst between the back line to the attack. And if it's, I don't know how many listeners would understand lacrosse or have watched lacrosse at all, but there's a designated position called the transition, where when they go from defense to offense, it's in the transition stick, and they move it up. That's kind of what I imagine Camavinga does. He is a deeper midfielder, but once that's defensively, that's when he doesn't have the ball. Once his squad has the ball, he moves it up and gets the ball to somebody who can also move it. If that's for United, and it's take your pick of Sancho, Bruno, Rashford, I don't know who else is there, Greenwood, take your pick. Like it's
Donny Van de Beek just chilling there still.
Oh,
who knows?
Whoops.
Who knows?
Forgot
Who knows if
about
he'll
Donny.
actually turn into anything? Like I know a lot of people criticize, Van de Beek, how he's ruining his career at United. Okay, he's been here for a season. Relax. Never know. Next year he can maybe impress Solskjaer in preseason and training. Hey, you know what? Maybe you deserve a lot more minutes than maybe I was wrong about you.
Where is he going to play?
I don't know, man. That's the question everybody asks. Where the hell does he play? He's more suited for central attacking mid. I think Ole needs to learn what squad rotation means so he doesn't burn out someone like Bruno or Pogba or Rashford, but...
And that's kind of the beauty in it, though, right? Because
I think... Sorry, Brett. I was just saying, if Van de Beek doesn't play a lot next year, he doesn't perform, just sell him. I think whatever last season happened. I think this season maybe is where he kind of shines, in my opinion.
Totally. I think the major thing for United this year will be that rotation. You see so many guys like the Rashfords, the Brunos, Harry Maguire, who just continually, maybe not gas themselves out, but when you look at how Bruno played in the Euros, he was tired. He was giving the ball away. It just was not United Bruno. And that would probably has a little bit to do with fatigue. Now, I'm not going to say keep bringing in everyone you can. You have the money, but if you can bring in solid talents that you are comfortable with on an off day for Bruno, on an off day for Pogba, on an off day for whoever, name it, and you can confidently throw out that player like how City does with basically anybody on their bench, you're going to have a pretty good squad. And when you're going into the Champions League, trying to battle the top squads in all of Europe, that's going to be key. And I truly think that if we're able to really load up on that, it will be amazing. Yes, I'm a United fan. Sorry, I didn't say that.
But
Lucas, what do you think?
Whatever. No, I mean, okay. Camavinga, if you get him, you get him. He's not going to have an instant impact, I don't imagine.
Yeah.
Take time for him to adjust to the Premier League, adjust to the Manchester United team. But he'd be training with great players, improve as the years go by. I'm not exactly sure what role he would play at Manchester United, as there's many midfielders there where I don't know what their role really is.
Honestly,
but
I think
it is an exciting signing for you if it does happen.
And it's also like one of those things that we've never really seen this type of activity from United in the transfer window. You know, they've signed world class talents, like one, you know, Di Maria, the Pogbas here and there. If I'm missing a name, I probably am.
Depay, probably.
Jadon Sancho now, but
yeah.
But a lot of credit. I think people are, you know, when they brought in John Murtaugh, how do you pronounce that? And he's the new, what is he, the
technical
director of football, yeah. And this is who it is. This is from the Republic. So John Murtaugh started as a sports scientist at Everton under former United manager David Moyes. He served the Premier as head of elite performance in 2012 before reuniting with Moyes at Old Trafford in 2013. Basically, he is known as the fixer, and he enjoys a close working relationship with Ed Woodward. He's brought in transfer. He served as the head of football development and has been credited with work done on the recruitment structures and the women's team. So this guy is basically like, I'm gonna fix a lot of the issues maybe here. We'll see what happens. And you know, Varane is rumored to come as well. We'll see that there's been dialogue between United and Varane. We'll see what that happens, but hopefully, the big question mark around United always will be Solskjaer, if he can actually win a trophy for this team, and we'll see what happens. Let's move away from United because we always talk about them a lot. Lucas, who should we talk about next?
This team, I think, is having the best transfer window. I know United, you guys are having a good time right now, but PSG, this month, they will be announcing Donnarumma, Hakimi, and Sergio Ramos. 3 players that can be an instant impact to their team, improve places. Well, I don't think Donnarumma is an upgrade on Keylor Navas right now, but Hakimi is certainly an upgrade on guys like Florenzi, who was there last season, and Sergio Ramos there next to Marquinhos. I think that's a great Thiago Silva replacement. A year too late, but it is happening, and I think PSG are looking really good going to next season. I know their goal is to definitely win the Champions League. Of course, they want to win back Ligue 1. There are concerns about Kylian Mbappe, though. There's more and more rumors that he's not going to resign, or that at the moment he's not going to resign and is just going to wait and see. So we'll see what happens with that. But generally, going to next season, PSG are fixing a lot of places that they didn't address the season before, and it could be good for them, especially in the Champions League this season.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it kind of goes back, not necessarily to that United chat, where if you keep having those options, you're going to be a great squad. And if you keep having those players develop around terrific world-class players, you're going to be a good squad. PSG is also trying to overtake Lille again in Ligue 1, and they are probably a little embarrassed that they didn't take over France here. So they're probably just going to load up all their guns here and really shoot it out here with anybody in France and really try and take it back over. It's going to be an exciting squad there too.
No, I agree. For me personally, right now, the signings they're making, if Pochettino can make it all work together, I think they will be my Champions League favorites.
I constantly forget Poch is there too.
Yeah, and also, actually, just speaking about Mbappe recently, I think I was trying to mention this on the stream. I was on Facebook the other day, and I saw I have a football post come through my feed, and there was this one post. It was like a quote from Zidane. It's like, apparently Zidane said this, but he didn't. This is fake news to the highest. According, I do not like to speak publicly about an individual player. However, Kylian Mbappe quickly needs to revisit something that could hurt his career, and that thing is his ego. France has had bigger legends that have never shown an ego. I'm afraid if he continues like this, he will drown. Zidane never said that. Don't believe everything you read on the internet, as we say. Fake news. I tried Googling this. Like, did Zidane actually say this? No results. No journalists. No interview of him saying this. Fuck off. Like, I hate this man. It was some weird shitty page on Facebook that said it, and people were believing it. I'm like, do your research, people, please.
But one thing to make Waz happy, Lukas Podolski, He's now in
I
advanced
saw
talks
this.
to join Górnik Zabrze in Poland,
Yeah.
his hometown club where he started his career or where he grew up.
Bro, the Polish league is looking fine next year. You know, you got Kuba Błaszczykowski running things. You got Podolski back in the Polish league. I'm going to Poland for some Polish football, man.
Piszczek is also joining his boyhood club as well. I don't think we mentioned that on a podcast from weeks ago.
That's cool,
bro.
I think they're
Extra class that's turning into a retirement league. I love it.
Let me check. I don't think Piszczek's club is in the first division, but it is his club where he started his career, so that's really awesome. It's something cool to see, just these players going back to where it all started. Piszczek is he's now playing with Gocałkowice Zdrój. It's a hard name to pronounce.
But hey, it's good to see.
It's my favorite club in Poland.
I think they're in it's either the third or fourth tier of Poland.
Oh, so he's really
wow.
He's really gonna pull them out of the mud.
Yeah, fourth tier. I think his dad owns part of the club or something. So yeah.
Maybe you should tell his dad to figure it out.
Anything else we should mention? Apparently Mourinho said something. He said Mourinho and his lack of success. I've been a victim of myself due to my personality. I promoted that everything is always to win or win. When I got to a situation where it was very difficult to do it, for me, it was always considered insufficient. It was a failure. So, interesting.
I'll just wait and see with Mourinho. He said a lot of things before joining Tottenham that had me believing that he just, had to turn the page and something new was expected of Tottenham, but we saw more of the same. So I'm gonna wait and see. I still think he can do a great job at Roma. It's a different league. It might work out better for him, and he's especially going to be the underdog in the league. But I'm gonna that's all I'm gonna say.
A lot of the stuff that I saw at Tottenham, he never won anything there, right? No. I wasn't sure if
the cup final.
Right. I wasn't sure if he
wasn't even a part of that. He got sacked before even playing in the final.
Yeah, he snuck. I wasn't sure if he snuck one in early or if he was, but I didn't. I don't know. It was very late on from the signing of Mourinho that I really felt, okay, this isn't the fit. I kept thinking, okay, just wait it out. He's Jose Mourinho. He'll figure it out. And I haven't been able to tell yet, and I guess this will be the litmus test if it was the Tottenham squad and Daniel Levy and what they created, or if that was a monster of Jose Mourinho and his ego and fuck everybody attitude,
Yeah, Mourinho's always gonna be an interesting topic. Let's kind of now move on to maybe just Copa America. But before that, I guess another transfer, just to say that DePaul from Udinese is Argentine. He'll be going to Atletico Madrid, which is a fantastic transfer. He'll apparently cost 35 million euros and sign a 6-year contract. So that's a good deal, in my opinion.
Yep.
And speaking of it, he scored a goal against in the Copa America yesterday.
Yeah, great performance by Argentina in the Copa America. I think the result looks like a statement victory from them. Lionel Messi, just fantastic. It's just a joy watching him play. We don't have too many years left of him, so whenever he has performances like these, it's just a joy to watch. First, just making a pass in behind to Gonzalez. A ball gets deflected back to Messi. Messi makes another great goal-scoring opportunity again, and they score with the Paul goal.
I love that, his vision, because I don't even think he looked at the Paul. It's just his intelligence. He just kind of understood he was there and just sent it to him. I was like, damn, like his pitch awareness is out of this world.
Yeah, and then Lautaro Martinez with the second goal, and then the third one followed with a fantastic free kick by him. There's a debate whether it was a penalty or a free kick. It didn't matter. It was going in no matter what.
Yeah.
In that smirk right before he took it, it was very quick. I didn't notice initially, but then I went through the comments of the video that I saw, and you had to rewatch it like 3 times. He knew it. It was just elite stuff. And like you said, there's only so many years left of it. It's you gotta savor it.
Yeah,
honestly, yeah.
Honestly, Argentina, I'm really enjoying this team. I'm really excited how this team develops, especially for next year's World Cup. But can Argentina win an international trophy here? Well, they got a good chance. They do play Colombia in the semifinals after they defeated Uruguay 0-0. Unfortunately, two of Uruguay's players missed the penalties. They were quite devastated after the game, understandably so. I tried to watch this game. It wasn't the best match of the Copa America. I actually fell asleep for the last 10 minutes.
Oh my god.
But still,
sorry to mention. Yeah, go ahead.
But great dramatics there. So it will be Colombia versus Argentina in one semifinal. But what were you going to say?
No, I just saw this thing on Reddit Soccer. Apparently, Barella, he was answering to a journalist asking about his memories of the 1990 World Cup. And he says, I was minus 7 years old at the time. So, get your facts right.
Barella, huge Colombian fan.
Yeah. Anyways.
But the other semifinals, we saw the one game that I missed. Peru versus Paraguay, which looked like the best game of maybe the tournament. 3-3 going to penalties, where Peru won the penalty shootout 4-3. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch that one. But the other game, Brazil, they played Chile. And, Brazil, they scored early in the second half. Lukas Paqueta. Minutes later, Kung Fu fighting from Gabriel Jesus.
Oh yeah, that was nasty. It was just, oh god. I was get arrested for that.
There was no hiding that. There was no hiding that. There was no, I didn't mean it. Bro, you were Bruce Lee. Who did you think you were, Gabriel?
So you're telling me that Gabriel Jesus didn't get arrested for that, but Stefan El Shaarawy is being investigated by police?
What?
well, Stefan El Shaarawy, he beat up a thief who tried to steal his Lamborghini.
Oh.
So, like, both pretty bad, I would say. Same wavelength, right?
Well, I want to say, I think Ederson probably got some PTSD when he saw that from Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah, honestly.
Just flashbacks. Honestly, I'm sure if he would have just called Gabriel Jesus, he would have got his Lambo back.
I think I'm gonna go watch Forrest Gump after this because of that. Thank you.
What?
It's the best non-movie out there. Am I wrong? I mean, he's there for like 10 minutes in the whole movie, but
I can't believe you said that.
It was a great time. Forrest Gump and Nom. Oh, rest in peace, Bubba. Great restaurant.
Anyways, with those results, it means Brazil will play Peru in the semifinals. Winner of that, of course, plays the other semifinals mentioned. So it is shaping up to be an Argentina-Brazil final, but you never know. But if that's the case, I'm excited. Okay, I'm signed up for that.
Oh yeah.
Should we mention anything else?
Well, I was just gonna say, Brazil and Argentina, I think will potentially be a classic game.
Yeah.
These two squads are super cool, and I think I don't think Casemiro gets the love that he deserves. I really think he's one of the world-class central defensive mids or defensive players in the world. I really like him, and I think he's. Defense isn't necessarily exciting, but I just really like seeing a really smart football player, and that's Casemiro.
Yeah, but let's move on. I think we got another international tournament coming up. There's been so many of them this summer. Why not have another one? There's actually 4 this summer, so
Jesus.
But the CONCACAF Gold Cup is coming up. Qualification for the tournament is finishing up with the final games on the 6th of July. Trinidad and Tobago plays French Guyana, Haiti plays Bermuda, and Guatemala plays Guadalupe. The winners of those matches will go into the Gold Cup group stages. Where, of course, we're Canadian. We're in a group with the USA.
This is true.
Ouch.
I can't wait for that USA Canada game. Unfortunately, Cuba, they can't participate because the Cuban national football team can no longer continue its participation in the CONCACAF because they were not granted U.S. visas as a consequence of the U.S. blockade against Cuba. So Cuba got fucked. didn't really know they had footballers there.
Really? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, they weren't able to play their qualifying game, I think, against French Guyana because they didn't have because of COVID stuff and like the restrictions.
Right. I want to talk about Canada first, just really quickly.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I was thinking, they announced, I believe it was last week, that Io Akinola will committed to the Canadian team and he will be on that squad. That is officially scary for me. I think that is terrific for the national team, the Canadian national team.
I saw Fonzie tweeting about it. Do you know much about the player, Brett?
He is, I would say, a natural goal scorer. The way that he and not, I don't want to say entertainer, but kind of a facilitator almost, without really creating too much of a Jose Altidore type impact, if that makes sense. He kind of complements that type of player more. But I went during the bubble, I believe it was last year. It's so weird how time has been muddled. He really came out of his shell and really established himself as a solid goal scorer, solid attacking type player. And I really hope that him and Jonathan David and that pretty strong attacking side as well for Canada will really drive our stock up here. And I wasn't optimistic going into it with, obviously the States and Mexico, and there's so many other underlying teams there. But I'm starting to get that underdog hope for Canada.
Well, we have to keep in mind, I'm pretty sure Jonathan David was not called up because he's recovering from an injury.
Right, that's right.
But the USA and Mexico team, they are sending more so their local players rather than the players from Europe. Editor note, he is wrong about Mexico. They actually have a good team called up.
Okay.
So,
interesting.
Or that's not necessarily true, but like a lot of like the top players aren't getting called up. Like you won't see Pulisic, you won't see McKennie, players like that. You'll see some players like Hoppe from Schalke and things like that, and a lot of MLS players, Liga MX players. But yeah,
no, not like Reina or players like that.
Yeah, but another crazy thing about this Gold Cup, Qatar is participating.
What? Did they just find themselves ways in the fucking tournaments?
Yeah,
I'm surprised they weren't at the Euros at this point.
It's like that Vine where it's like...
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Qatar playing Panama. Like, they were at the... Brett, I don't know if you knew this. They were at the Copa America like 2 years ago.
Oh, yes, I did know that, yeah.
They're like, we don't have our own tournaments. They do, actually.
They actually won the Asian Cup.
How do you find yourself in these? Like, I'm surprised they're not the Euros. I won't lie.
They're literally just like, I will do whatever I can to be in this tournament that is in our home soil.
They played against El Salvador, too, just today.
What? How do they do?
They defeated them with 10 men.
Oh, come on!
Oh, wow.
What?
So the real dark horse for the Gold Cup is Qatar.
What?
That's not Jesus.
North American, absolute beautiful North American spot. Qatar is a great team here for this Gold Cup. Unbelievable.
But keep in mind, I do think Qatar have some good players there that we don't know much about. The guy who scored against El Salvador, Almoez Ali, he was top goal scorer in the Asian Cup with 9 goals. Wow. Keep an eye on him.
Asia, North America. What? We have a globe.
I don't even know where it is. But this is where North America is.
That's where we're playing our tournament. They're from...
I'm guessing it's somewhere around here.
They're not in Africa, Brett.
They're not in Africa. They're in like
somewhere. They're not here.
They're not there. Yeah. They're across the fucking ocean.
There's this area, and that is approximately where
I'm bewildered, to say the least. But let's just mention, I think, so you mentioned Jonathan David. Yeah, he's not playing. He didn't call it up. But Alphonso Davies, one Canadian player to keep an eye on, I think, in my opinion, is Tajon Buchanan. Yeah. He's an up-and-coming player, so keep an eye on for him.
He actually scored yesterday against Columbus, and I saw his celebration. He was just shushing the Columbus crowd for some reason. I don't even know why.
I don't know. But if Canada, if anything, they'll probably start Kyle Larin up front. He's been good for them recently, especially in Turkey. So another Canadian to look out for is Stekau. How do you say it, Brett? Do you know? Stefan Estekio?
Oh, I'm not sure, but I have heard of them, I think.
Yeah, he's decent. But what team to look out for during the Gold Cup, in my opinion, is Suriname. Because if you look at some of their fucking players, Ryan Donk, Nigel Hasselbank, a lot of players who were Dutch are now Suriname.
Right.
Sean Kleiber, if you played a lot of FIFA.
Yes,
Kleiber is going to be on the team.
I have heard about this as well, just kind of the flip-flop.
Yeah, they're going to be somewhat of an interesting team to watch out for. If I look at Suriname national team real quick here, they're playing Jamaica in their first game. So if anyone's interested in CONCACAF and wants to watch some games, go check them out.
Yeah, and also, Curacao also, they're going to be a tough team. I remember I was playing Football Manager maybe a couple months ago, and I think they actually won the Gold Cup.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah, no, Suriname have a lot of players just that play in the Eredivisie. Like, they have the Haps guy as well, who plays for Feyenoord. So, interesting. But do we wrap up the podcast around there? I think we talked about everything almost we could.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out where Qatar is.
I'm going to Google this for you, actually. Qatar on the map.
It's in the Middle East, I'm pretty sure.
I think it's actually a very small island in the Middle East.
I thought so, too. Again, it is not.
Oh, it's America. It's right off the coast of the United Arab Emirates. So if you look at go to Saudi Arabia on your globe.
Saudi Arabia.
It's literally like the size of Edmonton.
We found it! There it is. You probably will not be able to see it, but it is. I am pointing there.
I'm sorry. I just got a little disgusted at the fact that a very small country like Qatar is hosting the World Cup. Well, that sounds very rude, but for good reason, I think.
It is there. And North America, for those who don't know.
I don't know what's more surprising, Qatar at the Gold Cup or Brett having 2 globes.
I have 6.
It's definitely the latter.
I'm a cultured man.
Well, for those who made it this far, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for Brett for coming on. We'll see what happens with the other lads if they ever appear again. But thank you for tuning in. Yeah.
This Tuesday we'll be streaming the Euros semi-final.
Twitch.tv/90thMinutteOfficial. All the links are in the bio to our Discord, socials. Check it out. Check out Brett as well. Good guy. He has his own podcast he does from time to time called The Breakdown. He's had some great guests on that show, including myself. What can I say?
Okay, mister. I'm the best.
Look, when Matt's not here, I can talk about myself a bit better. But yes, thank you for everyone who tuned in to this. And this has been yet another week in the beautiful game. We'll see you next time.